How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be platinuming 3 games, all from massive franchises that I've never played before. I realistically should have played these games as a trophy hunter, but you guys get to experience it with me for the first time ever. Before I get into the games, I just want to say there should be a lot more regular uploads on the channel going forwards. I'm going to aim for roughly a video every 2 weeks. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy what I've planned for the channel. I won't waste any more time, let's get into the first game. The first game has been recommended to me on multiple occasions since it came out in 2007 on the PlayStation 3. It's none other than Uncharted. I know it's a beloved series by so many people and I've just never really fancied it. Hopefully by getting the platinum it can change my mind on the series and make me want to platinum more of them. That's really the main goal of this video, to be honest. All of the games have at least a trilogy involved, with obviously Uncharted having around about 5 games and then one of the others having 4. Anyway, I'm distracted. Starting up Uncharted, I had a peek at the trophy list and knew if I wanted to get it done in one playthrough, then I needed to play on crushing difficulty. And I can't lie, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very apt name for the difficulty. If anyone's ever played it, they'll know what I'm talking about, but honestly, do not play it your first time ever on this difficulty. It's very disheartening and very annoying. I had to look up some guides on some of the levels because they was just impossible for me. Yeah, I don't know how people do that like first time. Obviously if you're used to the game, used to the mechanics, it makes sense, like you can do it, but first time playing it, do not do that because it takes a little while to get used to like the mechanics of the shooting and the aiming and stuff. It's weird. I definitely recommend going for a normal difficulty, and then once you're used to the mechanics like the shooting and everything, then go for your crushing playthrough. Now that other main thing that I also noticed on the trophy list was the collectibles. Of course, one of my favourite things as a trophy hunter. It's also actually what I got my first trophy for. I collected 1 treasure for the first treasure trophy, of course. Now that's the first one out of 61 total treasures. I actually then had a flurry of trophies in the first hour of playing. I killed 5 enemies in a row with headshots for the Headshots Expert trophy. I killed 20 enemies with headshots for the 20 headshots trophy. When that popped up, I honestly had no idea what it was for. I found 10 treasures for the Novice Fortune Hunter trophy. I used the guide for the treasures, by the way. There was absolutely no way I was going to find them all on my own. And then 2 more trophies, 1 for killing 5 enemies with the Brutal combo, and then 1 for getting 50 kills with the PM 9mm. The story of the game is quite good. It's a classic treasure hunt type of plot. Obviously it took inspiration from the likes of Tomb Raider, and I've also seen the film with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, so I knew sort of what to expect really. Not that the film is anything like the game. For anyone that doesn't know, basically you're a treasure hunter called Nathan Drake. You start out by finding his dead ancestor's coffin that doesn't have him in, and it has a clue in there instead. The clue is for an ancient artifact that you're chasing. You and a reporter are then ambushed. You meet a guy called Sully who's been working with Drake for a long time, and then you go to the island that should have the artifact on it. The main antagonist is also there. You get caught at one point and the reporter actually breaks you free. Nazis are also involved somewhere down the line, and then it takes a serious turn at one point that personally I wasn't expecting at all. I've never played it, but it felt a lot like what I presume Last of Us is like. That gives a slight hint as to what happens. Anyway, it all ends in a fight against the protagonist that you need to win. Hopefully that doesn't give away the plot too much. While I've gone through that, you would have seen me manage to get quite a lot of trophies, and that's what I found with this game really. Once you get into it, the trophies sort of come thick and fast. I thought it was going to be much more of a grind, but to be fair, it probably helped because I died so many times. I was getting 50 kills with weapons, what seemed so quickly, but it was just purely because I had to reset so many times. And plus, I made a point of using different guns, so I wouldn't have to do too many of them in the cleanup at the end. My overall opinion of the game is that it's really good. I enjoyed playing it a lot. I just resent the way that I'd done the platinum itself, to be honest. In hindsight, I should have done a normal playthrough, maybe getting all of the treasures, and then done a crushing playthrough. That way there wouldn't have been the massive learning curve straight away, and I might have actually enjoyed it a little bit more than I did. I was too focused on getting it done in one full playthrough rather than actually enjoying the game. And I think that's an issue that a lot of people deal with, especially if you're a trophy hunter. You want to get the game done as soon as possible, but I will promise you, you will enjoy it more if you just have an enjoyable playthrough first, in my opinion, and then go for the harder playthrough. Plus, you'll just end up hating all of the games that you play if you do them all that same way, the hardest and quickest way. It's definitely not worth it. Okay, so we're right near the end of the game now. I managed to get 60 treasures in the playthrough, and that's including the strange relic as well. So I actually missed one in the end, so I'll need to go back for that one once I finish the final mission. Now, this final level I found really hard at first. On crushing, you die so quickly. It's actually crazy. Like, I poke my head out slightly and then I just get absolutely lasered. Now, once I finish this mission, I should only have about 15 trophies left to get, excluding the platinum. I'm pretty happy with that. There's about 46 trophies overall for Uncharted, which to be honest seems quite a lot considering it's quite a short game. I'm leaving the time trials till last because I just don't want to do anything after those. I think they're probably going to make me not want to play the game, and I can only presume that they're the hardest part. Just watching my gameplay again, I actually died in this final mission so many times. My god, what was I doing, man? I'm glad I finally worked out. I just need to go as slow as possible, really. That's the main thing with crushing. If you go slow and let them come to you, it'll be okay. But if you try and run and gun, you're fucked. And now we're at the final fight. It is a cool ending, to be fair. Those that have played the game, personally, I wasn't expecting what happened. But it did make the ending a bit cooler, because obviously fighting the old guy, if we had to do that, it would have just felt a bit pointless. It would have been an easy win. But yeah, it was good that it changed protagonist, basically. And there we go. That's the end of the main story. Honestly, it's actually so satisfying when all of the difficulty related trophies, they all just pop at the same time. I absolutely love it. Now I was on to the cleanup. As I said, there wasn't that many things left to do. I started with finding the relic I missed during my crushing playthrough. Then it was on to the gun challenges that I had left. I only had 3 left to do, which were the MOS 12, the Micro 9mm, and then finally the M79, which we got done quite quickly. Now, during the game, I mainly just used guns, so I'd done hardly any melee challenges. So I started with getting 5 kills in a row with the brutal combo, and then also getting 20 kills overall with the combo as well. I quickly explored photo mode. I killed 10 enemies with grenades while hanging for the grenade hangman trophy. Killed 10 enemies in a row with a single punch after weakening them with gunfire. That was actually harder than it sounds for me. I don't know why I struggled so much. It always seemed like I'd either shot them too many times and they died, or I hadn't shot them enough, but then it felt like I was shooting them the exact same amount of time every time. But yeah, I digress. I got the Dino Might Master trophy for killing 3 enemies with the same explosion 5 times. Now it was on to the more grindy trophies. It took me about an hour to get both of these 2 trophies done. The first one was Master Ninja for killing 50 enemies by melee attacking them from behind, and then killing 75 enemies in a row. The second one was actually the easier one of the 2, because you have that one mission where there's an endless spawn of enemies and you can just run around in a circle and shoot them all. And then it's even easier when you turn on the cheats, which you unlock after you get all of the artifacts and stuff. So yeah, this just left the 3 time trials, one for chapter 12, one for chapter 5, and then finally chapter 16 as well. After checking, it looked like chapter 16 was the hardest, so I left that one until last. Chapter 12 was nice and easy. You just have to drive the jet ski up the river in 5 minutes or less. You can easily get that one done. You can literally mess up like 2 or 3 times and you'll still be able to do it quite easily. Then I went on to chapter 5. Again, it's quite easy. I think with the time trials, having done the first playthrough obviously on Crush it made these time trials seem so much easier because I could take so many more hits. So I absolutely breezed through chapter 5. And then it was on to chapter 16. This took me a few goes to get right. It was a lot more intricate than the other maps, and a lot more things could go wrong. I didn't really like this chapter during the story anyway, so the fact I had to speedrun it was just kind of annoying really. But thankfully I got it done with 45 seconds to spare, and that earns me the Speedy Reunion trophy and finally the platinum itself. I think the platinum probably does enhance the game a bit more, considering you have to use all of the different weapons. So it gives you more variety, and there's obviously a decent amount of difficulty there with having to play it on crushing. Would I recommend the platinum? Yes, but not in the way that I done it specifically, like I've already mentioned earlier in the video. And does this game make me want to play other Uncharted games? It does, yeah. I'll definitely be using the other games in some challenge videos or videos on their own, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's get into the second game. Our next entry in the video is again a much loved game. The trilogy though, it's not necessarily as loved as the first game is. Well, I mean, at least from what I've seen, I don't feel like it gets as much love. The other two games don't get as much love as the first one. This game actually also came out in 2007 and was even considered the game of the year by many critics. It's none other than Bioshock. It's a first-person shooter mixed with a tiny bit of horror, and you also have powers. And it's set in the 1960s, so it has a lot of potential for me. Will it live up to that potential? We'll have to see. Now, of course, with these platinum videos, I have had a quick look at the trophies before starting the game. I haven't looked at any spoilers, don't worry, but what I did see is that there's 122 audio diaries that you need to find. Now, as well, with all of the diaries, the tonics, the weapon upgrades, and all of the photos you've got to take of different enemy types and things, that puts the collectibles at around 180. That's more than GTA 5's campaign. How is there that many collectibles in such a small game in comparison? It just seems a little bit excessive. Anyway, let's get into the platinum. We start out on a plane, travelling somewhere, and it seems like we have a family. Plane ends up going down in the middle of the ocean, right next to the entrance of an underground city. So we do the only logical thing, enter the city underwater. You quickly realise that the people in the city have been infected by something, or they've just got some serious issues, because they're all trying to kill you. Now, I've always got to remember as well to check for audio diaries. With there being 122 of them, they're going to be absolutely everywhere, surely. Now, before I get into the never-ending collectible grind, I need to gain my first power. We do this by injecting ourselves with the very first plasmid that we find. This gives us the shock power, where you can electrocute enemies, which is exactly how I got my first trophy. I shocked an enemy while they was in the water for the toaster in the tub trophy. I then got 5 trophies in the next 20 minutes, starting with completed welcome for completing a tutorial level basically. I then successfully hacked a security bot for a trophy. For the same hack I got the 1 successful hack trophy. I then hacked a turret and a vending machine for 2 more trophies. I played for a little while longer that day, and so I got 3 more trophies before I called it a day. 2 of them were for more hacks. The first was for the security camera and the second was a safe. And the final trophy for the day was, I guess, the first boss battle of the game. Well, at least it's the first battle with a trophy tied to it. I got the defeated Dr. Steinman trophy for, you guessed it, beating a Big Daddy. Actually, speaking of Big Daddies, those guys are actually so fucking wham. They're so hard to kill when you first start out because your weapons are just shit. And they're really fucking powerful. And obviously with the platinum, you have to save all of the little sisters. Oh, and I don't think I've mentioned, but of course I know for the platinum that you need to complete the game on the survivor difficulty. I'm not actually playing on that difficulty because there's a glitch at the end where you can change the difficulty just as the final cutscene is playing out. I know that's a bit of a cheeky way of getting it done, but it honestly had to be done. I'm not sure I could have played through the game again, let alone on a higher difficulty. Now, speaking of the game itself, the story is really, really great. The twist was so sick. It's definitely got one of the best stories out of the 3 games that I'm playing in this video. And it's set in the 1960s, so the music they use is amazing, and it really sets the eerie tone that they was clearly going for with the city itself. I also like the upgrade system with the weapons, and that you had to buy extra slots once you save all the little sisters and things, like with the Adam. It made you actually fight the Big Daddies, when I'm sure most people would just run away from them if they had the choice. But my main issue with the game is the audio diaries, man. I don't understand who would think 122 of them in a game like this would be a good idea. It's honestly one of the craziest things I've seen in a game. And as well, having to fully research all the turrets and cameras and things, as well as the actual enemies, was such a snake move. I nearly wasn't able to get them all done in one playthrough. It's a great game overall, and if you aren't going for the platinum, I agree with the majority of people that play the game, it's absolutely amazing. But if you're going for the platinum, especially trying to get it all done in one playthrough, I'm telling you, you will not enjoy the game that much. It's like I said for Uncharted, I definitely chose time over enjoyment with this one again. Okay, now I've got the moaning out of the way.
That's what she said.
We can get back to the game. You will have just seen me get a whole load of trophies, but there's still over 30 to go. I just don't know how there's 54 trophies in this game. It's actually crazy. I would try and go through the story of the game for you, but I don't think I can do it justice, number one, and I also don't think I could do it without spoiling it. But honestly, if you've never played this game, it's definitely worth it. The story is unreal, and there's no way that you can guess what happens. I'll try not to show too much of like the ending. Obviously I have the final sort of fight in there, but I don't think that really ruins anything. It's mainly the bit that comes before that that's more important. Actually, one more thing to mention, the trophy where you get the jackpot on the slot machine, that honestly took me half an hour. I got $2 signs in a row so many times, and I got the free apples or whatever they are like 4 times in a row. I feel like that's harder than the jackpot. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it baffled me how long it actually took me. After that point, there really wasn't that much left for me to do. I only had 13 trophies left, and 6 of those were linked to completing the game. First trophy I went for was fully researching the Houdini splicers. I then got the trophy for either harvesting or rescuing every possible little sister. Obviously for the platinum you need to rescue all of them, so definitely remember that if you are going to go for the platinum. I acquired every upgrade for all of the weapons for the weapon specialist trophy. I successfully invented 100 items. That one was actually kind of annoying for me. I had to grind it out towards the end, just purely because I didn't really use the invention like mechanic that much. I finally found all of the audio diaries, all 122 of them, for the historian trophy. I still can't believe there's that many audio diaries in there. Obviously the story that you get from the audio diaries is kind of cool, but there's no way I'd listen to all 122 of them. I then got a story trophy, which I won't show because it does contain a spoiler, I guess. I then only had one left before the final boss fight, and that was Research PhD, for maxing out all of the possible research. And like I said earlier in the video, I thought I wasn't actually going to be able to get that done, but thankfully there was enough security cameras in the second to last level. So if you are just looking for security cameras and you're like me and didn't do it through the game because you're an idiot, then don't worry, there's quite a few in the last couple of missions, so you're all good. And now it's on to the final fight. It's actually pretty fucking cool, I won't lie. I wasn't expecting to have a fight like this, as it is quite different to everything else in the game, I think. At least there's not a boss fight sort of like it, with different phases and things. I'm sure the fight itself would actually be a lot harder, obviously on the higher difficulties, but thankfully on the difficulty I played it on, it was really easy. I just kept shooting him, and my health wasn't going down that much, so it was calm. I don't know about everyone else, but throughout the game I just found myself not really using the plasmids that much. I mainly just used the normal weapons. To be fair, that's probably why I always had like no ammo in any of the guns. I don't know if you guys would have noticed, but yeah, I always kept running out of ammo. It's so annoying. Anyway, we get the final boss fight done, and then as the screen turns white, I quickly change the difficulty so the glitch will work. Annoyingly, this way all of the trophies don't actually pop. I only had Little Sister Saviour come up and then the platinum straight away. Like I said, I know it was a bit of a cheeky way of doing it, but after the playthrough that I just done, couldn't imagine playing the game again on a harder difficulty. At least not right now. Maybe in the future I'll play the game again, and obviously because I got the platinum I don't have to worry about any of the collectibles, so I'll just have a normal playthrough. But yeah, for this there was no way. So that's Bioshock done then. Would I recommend the platinum? That is a hard no. Definitely not. I would definitely recommend the game, because obviously, like I've mentioned many times, the story is unbelievable. Does it make me want to play the trilogy? For the story, it definitely does. I can only imagine that the stories get better and better, but platinum wise, If there's the same amount of collectibles, then definitely not. I will not be going anywhere near the other games. If it's a normal amount of collectibles, then I'd be willing to check the platinum out. Right then, let's get into the third and final game of the video. Our final game is one that shockingly also came out actually in 2007 originally. 2007 was one hell of a year for games. I had no idea it was actually this good. But this game somehow has only been recommended to me once in my entire life. And it was only this year that they actually recommended it. It's Mass Effect. I'd seen this game when it came out and I didn't really fancy it back then. I'd also seen the releases of Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda, and I still didn't fancy giving it a go. And once someone recommended it to me, and recommended it with some serious passion, and absolutely sold me the game, I was then willing to play it. So with the other games in the video, I didn't really go in with a well thought out plan that allowed me to actually enjoy the game. It was just me thinking, I need to get this done in one playthrough. Where's the collectibles? Let me get a guide and finish as fast as possible. But with this, I'm actually going to have a plan for the platinum. So stage 1 is going to consist of me just getting the only missable trophy in the entire game within the first 3 hours of playing. And then stage 2 is just enjoy the game and complete as many side quests as I can. That's only to work towards the completionist trophy. I also chose to do my playthrough choosing the Paragon speech options. I think it's more my type of style compared to the more aggressive Renegade options. Okay, no more stalling, let's get into the platinum. Starting out, I accidentally chose the default Shepherd for my playthrough. I didn't actually realise what I was choosing. For the platinum playthrough, I know some people choose specific ones, so they can get the kills with certain skills done quicker. But you can do that just using your team for literally all of them, so don't worry if you do make the same mistake as me. Anyway, the first order of business is to complete the prologue of the game. In the prologue you actually learn quite a lot. So firstly you learn about the Protheans, and they was a very technologically advanced race that went extinct without a trace around 50,000 years before the game takes place. They were much more advanced than the people that are around today. So when they find artifacts and old machinery from the Protheans, they expect to learn many things from it. You learn about Spectres. They're basically a set of elite soldiers. They're the best of the best of the best that the council sends on missions, and regular laws do not apply to them either. A Spectre is accompanying you with the first mission in the prologue because they're actually assessing to see whether you would make a good Spectre, and you'd be the first human Spectre. So it's very political in a sense, which usually I don't like when games are focused around political things, but in this sense I didn't mind it that much. I just sort of ran with it. So on the prologue mission you actually find a soldier called Williams. She was trying to protect a load of scientists where they found the beacon, but they were overrun by the Geth. The Geth are the main sort of enemy in the game. They're basically robots that want to kill you. You fight a load of them off and you're due to meet up with the Spectre at the spaceport. However, before you get there, Nihilus, who is the Spectre, that's his name, finds another Spectre called Seren there. Thinking he's a friendly, Nihilus lets his guard down, and while his back is turned, Seren shoots him in the back of the head. That's how you meet the main antagonist of the game. You then chase Seren down and finally get to the beacon, but he escapes. Shepard saves Williams from getting sucked into the beacon, and then is presented with a vision of the Protheans being destroyed by a race called the Reapers, which no one had heard of before. And that's the end of the prologue. That's when you get your first trophy. Honestly, this game, the more I think about it, it's actually so sick. I'll give my full opinions obviously later in the video, but I think you can tell I'm a big fan already. After the prologue, you head straight to the Citadel. This is where the council has their base of operations. No one ever built the Citadel. It was found and believed to have been made by the Protheans. It stayed maintained over the years due to the Keepers. The Keepers are a weird alien race that's half robot and half something else. Their sole purpose is literally just to look after and maintain the Citadel. You meet with the council and find out that they don't believe your report that Seren has gone rogue. They even have a sort of like trial for Seren, and the council sides with Seren, saying there's insufficient evidence. You're then tasked with finding evidence on Seren, and while you're doing this, you actually recruit members for your team. And the members you recruit, they're called Rex, Garrus, and Tally. Or Tali, I'm not sure how to say it. And then you find Dr. Sonny, or however you say her name, that's even harder, in a different mission later on. You prove Seren is a rogue agent, and then you're sent after him so that you can stop him. And the council also makes you a Spectre, after you proved yourself to them. That's when you get the second trophy of the game, Spectre Inductee. Shortly after becoming a Spectre, and before you leave the Citadel, you can finish off the Archivist trophy by talking to the captain about the final alien race. Now all I have to do is just enjoy the side missions and the main missions as well. So the first thing I done was land on a random Uncharted planet, and I got the Medal of Exploration 1 trophy. After finding a massive evil worm creature thing on that planet, I quickly left because it just basically instantly killed me, and went straight to another planet. I quickly realised this was actually where I was meant to go for the main story, so I powered through after dying multiple times to this massive Geth thing. It one-shot me so many times, it was actually really annoying. But I eventually managed to beat it and found Dr. Sonny in the mine. She had trapped herself in a force field when she was trying to defend her position, so we had to break through the mine and save her. Once we saved her, we was actually ambushed on the way out by Seren's men. They put up a tough fight, but we got past them and then only just made it out of the collapsing mine in time. That's when I got my 5th trophy, called Search and Rescue. The next few trophies were all for completing 5 missions with different members of the team. This is much easier than you think it is because assignments actually count. You don't just have to do main missions. So the first one I got was with the Alliance Sentinel, then Alliance Soldier, the Turian, and then finally the Krogan. The other 2 I get in the next sort of area. Now we find ourselves on a planet called Noveria. Here you confront Seren's right-hand woman, who is assisting in trying to harvest the young of the Rachni, who were thought to be an extinct race, and they're trying to turn them into an army for Seren. And you find out that he is controlling her mind and that she doesn't actually want to do the things that he's trying to make her do. But unfortunately there's no way that she can stop the mind control, so you have to fight her and kill her. This earns you the Honorarium of Corporate Service trophy. Going forwards, it was mainly just the other 2 trophies for completing 5 missions, with certain allies, and then some combat trophies as well. The first 3 I got were for using Biotic Barrier 25 times, then using the Throw 25 times as well, and finally using Sabotage 25 times. You could argue I also got another one, but I don't really count it. It's for using Medigel 50 times. I just think that's just a generic thing rather than a purely just combat thing. Before fully completing Feros, I managed to accumulate 75% of the total possible Paragon points by not killing any of the colonists before you go and fight the massive Thorian plant thing. That fight is quite easy. It looks like it's going to be difficult at first, but it's really, really easy. It's even easier, like, I can imagine, if you don't have Sonny with you, because she almost always gets killed, like, instantly. At least Tali had like a bit about her and she put up a good fight. Anyway, we destroyed the Thorian, and when you return to the ship you receive the Medal of Heroism trophy. At this point I decided to go out and complete as many side missions as I could. The main bulk of the trophies I got in the next bulk of the video are for visiting planets, completing specific side quests, and finishing a lot of the combat related trophies. While I let that play out in the background, I'll just go through my thoughts on the game and the Platinum itself. Overall, I absolutely love this game. I'm shocked more people don't talk about it. The amount of side quests and things to do might intimidate a lot of people, but I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. The story as well was really good. I love the way that everything you do changes something, no matter how small it is. And when you're travelling in the elevator, for example, the radio is on and then it says about like your recent sort of activity on the different planet and stuff like that. It's just little things that are amazing. It's honestly genius. I've never played a game like this before. I honestly don't think I have any issues with the game. Actually, except maybe the rover thing. I can't remember what it's called. you use to like get around the planets, if that could move a little faster or maybe move a little bit better when you're traversing the landscape, that would be great. But honestly, that's if I'm like nitpicking completely. There's virtually no flaws with this game in my opinion. Overall, incredibly solid game that absolutely everyone should play. Is it worth doing the platinum? I genuinely think going for the platinum for this game, it actually enhances the experience. It's not often that the platinum actually does that, but on this occasion it most definitely does. It gets you to use all of the different combat abilities. You have to complete the majority of the game, and the side quests are one of the best bits of the game. I enjoyed this so much more than the other games, and some would say purely because there's no collectibles, and that definitely helps, but I think this is just more of my type of game. It's a grindy game, it's just better. Now, the campaign of this one, I think, to be honest, is the shortest one out of all of them, especially if you blitz just straight through it. But I actually spent the most time playing Mass Effect, by quite a bit. Everyone should honestly give this game a go, man. If you're looking, especially if you're looking for a new game that you've never played before, I would definitely be playing the rest of the series. Hopefully my praise doesn't bite me in the arse. Imagine after this one that it just falls straight off a cliff. That would be horrendous. Okay, so trophy wise, that leaves me with only 3 trophies left, including the platinum. The last planet you travel to is Ilos. This is the final planet in the story. Here you find out the Protheans had a secret science lab on the planet where they was trying to stop the Reapers from coming and destroying their entire race. See, the Protheans worked out that the Reapers had been destroying civilizations for millions of years. The Citadel was not actually made by the Protheans, it was the Reapers that had made it, and they left it for each of the civilizations that they planned to destroy throughout history. The Citadel was actually a way of transporting all of the Reapers from dark space into the galaxy. Seren was being controlled by a Reaper called Sovereign. Also, the Protheans found a way to change the signal sent off by the Citadel so that Reapers wouldn't be able to make it through the gateway. So your mission is basically to make it to the Citadel and upload the algorithm. You need to follow Seren and make your way through the conduit, which is a Prothean built mass relay. Once on the other side, you make your way to the mass relay in the Citadel, and I personally convinced Seren to stop what he was doing and broke the mind control. He then decided to shoot himself in the head. That was nothing to do with me. He decided to sacrifice himself. Shepard then uploads the algorithm and stops Sovereign, but before anyone can actually celebrate, Sovereign basically possesses Seren's dead body, and then you have to fight him as the final boss. I nearly died in this fight quite a few times, but fortunately I made it through. He had that really annoying ability that overheated your gun, like those little crawling things have. So annoying. Very frustrating fight at times. But we ended up beating Sovereign in the end, and then his shields are down so the rest of the fleet completely destroy him. And then at the very end, Shepard emerges from the smoke and he received both the trophy for completing the game and the platinum itself. Like I said earlier, I recommend this game so much. Honestly, unreal. Also, let me know in the comments if you've done anything different to me, whether you went for a Paragon playthrough or Renegade one, and if anything massively different happened for you. Overall, after finishing all 3 games, I've definitely worked out I need to worry less about how quick I can do a platinum and more about enjoyment. If I can do it quickly but enjoy it, then that's great. Obviously that's perfect. But going slow and enjoying it is also a great idea too. The best game for me was obviously Mass Effect. I'd say second was Uncharted, and then last was Bioshock. I mean, what can you expect when there's 180 plus collectibles? Anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed the video. If you've made it to this point, you might as well like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's fair enough. Have a great day. Safe.